Hi, and welcome back to Take 5. This is day 3, where we're looking at 1 Chronicles chapter 22 this time. We're looking at verses 2 to 19.
Just a little bit today then.
Yeah. And this is, well, if you remember previous day, David has obviously made mistakes. He's counted his soldiers against God's wishes, and there's been problems. But it did resolve in a re-establishment of that connection, that relationship, and David was able to build an altar to God and sacrifice and re-establish that relationship.
And that's then where they can build the temple, right? So
well, yeah, I mean, the idea for David was that he could make that a permanent situation in Jerusalem, where somewhere that God and man could meet and deal with these issues and offer sacrifices and ask for forgiveness. The only problem was David was not a man of peace. He was a warrior. He was a warrior king, and he had a lot of blood on his hands, and basically he was told, this is not a job for you.
Or building the temple.
Yeah, building the temple.
Yeah.
God tells him that his son will do this. Now, David, being a man that honours God in every way he can, still wants to be involved, and what he's allowed to do is prepare for the future. So he starts building a workforce to create the stonework. He drags in all the resources he can to provide the material needed for this great epic project, and basically is really concerned with the legacy he's going to leave behind. He instructs Solomon, his son, in what needs to be happening. Even though he can't do it, he knows the next generation can.
He's set him up, hasn't he? He's set him up really to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think that's something that we all need to think about. What is the legacy that we're going to leave behind when we're gone? What are we building for the future in the next generation?
I suppose there's lots of everyday small decisions that we make, aren't there, that can actually choose to build legacy, but good or bad really, into those that come after us, whether that's someone who follows us in a ministry capacity, in a work capacity, our children.
Yeah.
The decisions that we make and the lifestyle choices that we make, or the little choices that we make to move towards or away from certain things can...
I mean, one of the saddest stories, I think, in the Bible is the sons of Samuel who don't follow God, who get a reputation for being corrupt, and I think that's really sad that they don't follow in their father's footsteps. And I think all parents are trying to pass on the love for God. If you have a love for God, you want to pass it, you want to see it reflected in the children. But in leadership, totally, we should always be thinking of what's going to happen after we've gone. We're just caretaking a role or position. We're building for the future. And I think we need to think that through. So how do we do that?
I don't know, it's got to be a personal look at your life, I suppose, and that's what I've done, or I think I feel challenged to do on quite a regular basis, is to look at the things that the decisions that I've made or I am making, intentionally or unintentionally, that are setting me up for where I'm going to be further down the road, and what position that's going to lead those around me into. I don't know, it's quite a sobering thought, isn't it, to think what decision am I making today that will influence where things will be in a year's time, in 2 years' time. We spoke about this ages ago, about transparency as parents. We want to be able to reveal to our kids our faith. It's not good enough just to quietly pray on our own or read the Bible alone. It doesn't set much of an example unless it's seen. And so sometimes you have to be a bit deliberate in showing the next generation what it's like, getting them to see it. It was a brilliant bit of teaching we actually had from Helen and Ollie. Shout out to Helen and Ollie. I'm pretty sure it was through them, saying actually when we have our own personal times with God, don't we? But you don't actually necessarily let your kids in under the bonnet to see or to, and unless you vocalise what's happening during those times, what they see is you maybe sat with a Bible or sat quietly. But there's something about actually letting your kids see or into, like letting them know the the kind of the background conversation under the bonnet. What am I talking to God about? What are the things that I'm worried about today, and how am I bringing those to God? You know, and actually verbalising some of that stuff that would normally stay in your head. That was something that was a decision for us, legacy-wise, wasn't it?
So, today we've looked at David and how he builds a legacy for the future, and perhaps the thing to pray about is to say, Lord, what should I build for the future? How can I pass on? How can I be an example to others to show them how to have a better relationship with God? Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.